guys. Checking in to answer a question today that we've been, not even so much that we've been hearing, but students have been hearing. And that question is freelancing a thing? And so, I mean, yes, obviously freelancing is a real career. I guess that's the question. Is freelancing a real career? So yes, obviously freelancing is a real career. Not obviously, clearly not obviously, because it's a question for some reason. So what I really wanted to do is unpack exactly why this is a question in some people's minds. The concept of even questioning whether or not freelancing is a real career implies that the only real career is when you are on staff and you go to another location and someone pays you a salary to do work. Because otherwise, it's not all that different as a freelancer. As a freelancer, you're providing a similar service as you would provide if you were on staff. So service is not different, right? You could be a Pinterest manager on staff. You could be a freelance Pinterest manager. Okay, so there's no difference there. The work that's being done is the same. The location. Okay, so you're not going to someone's office or someone's job site, which you can. Maybe you can go for meetings, or if you want a contract, you can go in there. But so it's not, so you're not going to someone's job site. Okay, so there's a difference there. It's the location. When you're on staff, someone is paying you a regular salary, regardless of the work that you do, which is a little insane when you really think about it. And a lot of employers will notice that. And that's why when you see sometimes massive layoffs, not the only reason for massive layoffs, you know what I'm saying. But then, so the difference there, you're paid by the project versus you're just paid a salary. So you're still getting paid for the work that you do. So it's not the payment that's different. What is it about freelancing that doesn't seem valid? Because you're still doing work. You are still you may be working for the same kinds of companies, exact same kinds of companies you would be if you were on staff. You are more likely, if you are working full-time, it is exceedingly likely that you're making more money as a freelancer if you're working full-time as a freelancer versus working full-time on staff. It's exceedingly likely, and in fact, it's probably a problem if you're not, making more money as a freelancer. You are just working with more clients. You are working with, doing different types of work, or have a greater variety of work in your life. I question too whether or not it's, the comment, I think it's because people look at it as not guaranteed income. Yeah, but you know what? No job is guaranteed income either. You get hired for a job. I mean, I know I'm a little bit preaching to the choir here, but you get hired for a job and there's no guarantee you're still going to have that job in a week, a month, a year. There's no guarantee when it comes to a salary, and I think that's kind of one of I'm not saying anything against college. I went to college. We had a generally pretty good experience there. But I think that there's this fallacy, especially in America, that if you follow a certain plan, if you go to high school, if you go to college, then you'll get a job and then you'll never have to worry about anything ever again. And I think so many people kind of think that that's true, but in the real world, that's not at all what happens. There's so many people that get out of college and that struggle to find a job after college. There's nothing guaranteed about getting a job, and then once you get a job, there's nothing guaranteed about having income. The idea of guaranteed income, meaning that it's a real career, is a little bit insane when you think about it. Like, oh, your career is only valid if someone outside of you is paying you regularly. Your career is only valid if you have been validated by someone, doesn't matter who, someone at some company bringing you on staff. When you really break that down, that's crazy. Shouldn't it be more? Shouldn't freelancing be more? And not saying that one is more valid than the other. But if we were going to try to equivocate like that, wouldn't it be more valid if, as a freelancer, you have more companies that want to pay you for your services? That it's not just one company that brings you on once. There are more companies that want to pay you for your services. There are multiple companies that want to pay you for your services, and maybe they come back for more. Maybe they refer you to other companies. But this idea of a job, a job on staff being a valid career and freelancing not being a valid career is a vestige of thinking from 50, 60, 70 years ago. It's your career is what you make of it. And if you ask me, I would much prefer to have control over the work that I'm doing and the income that is coming in. We like to pretend that being on staff means that we're safe, that we go in and we're going to get our paychecks no matter what. And I think it's got to be clearer than ever that that's just not how it works. Companies make changes and you have no control over it whatsoever. And a company can move you around, a company can demote you, a company can change your salary. Any number of things can happen. You have no control. Whereas as a freelancer, you have control as long as your system for finding clients isn't about like, oh, I hope somebody hires me. I have talked about this multiple times. You need to actually have a system to make sure that you're finding and landing clients, which of course is part of what we teach in the freelance success framework. You have to have a system. But once you have that system, if you're executing on your system, you are in control of your income. You are in control of the clients that you work with, the number of clients that you work with. If you want to dial up your income, great. If you want to dial down your income, great. But you're in control. You don't have to ask anybody for days off. You don't have to report into, you don't have to be at your desk by 9 and any number of, you don't have to clock out for an hour lunch or whatever. You are in control of your days and in control of your income and in control of your opportunities and in control of the direction of your career. And for that to make it less of a valid career than being on staff is just such an antiquated way of thinking and an antiquated way of viewing our lives and our careers, that it's surprising to me, and quite frankly I think it's a little bit sad that people think the only way that they can have a real career is to sacrifice all of the control in their career, is to give up to someone else how much they make, what their schedule looks like, how they can advance in their career, where they can live, where they can work, when they can take vacation, when they can if they can get a salary raise, if they can get an income raise. It's so sad to me that is what most people think it makes up a real career. When you actually look, and don't get me wrong, I have been on staff, I've freelanced also part-time while I've always freelanced when I've been on staff. I've been on staff. There have been jobs that I thought, you know what, I really enjoy this. I'm willing to do this for a couple years on staff because that's the only way they want to do it. I don't have anything against being on staff, but the idea that the only valid way of having a career is being on staff is quite frankly really sad. And again, that's the kind of thing that you're going to hear from people who don't have experience as a freelancer. Oftentimes the opinions the loudest opinions that we get and the most vehement opinions that you will often hear are from those who have no idea what they're talking about. So and even sometimes the people who love us, they're concerned about us. They say, well, freelancing's not a real career. Well, have you ever freelanced? Do you even know anybody who's been successful as a freelancer? One of the best pieces of advice I ever learned, I can't remember if I learned it or heard it or whatever, but to only take advice from people who've been successful at what you want to do. So if your mom or your partner or your cousin or your friend has not been a successful freelancer or doesn't know any successful freelancers, then maybe they're not the people to look to find out about what constitutes a successful, to find out how to be a successful freelancer and what constitutes a real career. Because quite frankly, how many people in real careers, how many people on staff do you know that are actually happy with what they're doing? So if their definition of a real career is to be on staff and probably more than likely not really enjoy it at all, to spend at least 2,080 hours, at least, that's like bare minimum, 40 hours a week, let's face it, that's the bare minimum. But to spend, their definition is to spend at least 2,080 hours giving up all of the control of their career and spending all that time doing something they probably don't even like that much. If that's their definition of a real career, then fine, they can keep it. Best of luck to them. Enjoy your real career. I'm going to keep on freelancing.